All right, family. We black once again. It's on with the general. We got some fire. I know y'all ready. We talking about why Christmas was more like Halloween in early America. Not only early America, back in Europe, it was more like Halloween. But let's talk. Let's talk about it, family. Excuse me. I want y'all to get over there to my Patreon. You already know we got over 500 exclusive live streams, straight fire, 500 over. We want you to check it out. We got some advanced material, visuals, mind blowing. Check it out, kingseti.com, online marketplace, official General SETI products, DVDs, t-shirts, hoodies, African and Kemetic jewelry, off the chain. Check us out. We got exclusive membership videos for General SETI, Sarasu SETI YouTube page. So when you become a member, you gain access to those exclusive videos. And just make sure you get this video a thumbs up, like it because you love it. Share it with your family and friends, and comment. Just don't say nothing stupid because I will. You know, I think Ray out there, Ray gonna bang you. You see what I'm saying? He don't get you, I'm gonna get you. That's for damn sure. Anyway, let's talk about it, family, on why early Christmas uh in early America, and not just early in its beginning stages, was more like Halloween. That's why we talked about these witches, like Frau Percher and Gryla. You see what I'm saying? Krampus. You even got one in Italy. What was her name? La Befana, another witch. The witch was the dominant icon of this period of what we call the winter season that y'all not talking about. That the Santa Claus that y'all know today is primarily a new addition. You understand what I'm saying? A commercial addition to this new Christmas in America where it's about economics. They trying to turn this into an economic powerhouse. You see what I'm saying? And so, yeah, so they know they can't, had a witch and all of that, and it's about Jesus and all of this. And so, many of the winter icons, and you had Father Christmas coming out of England, Britain, and then you had this other wild looking guy named Bell Nickel. He was a ragged, dirty looking, but he was more the one that would whoop the children. A lot of them earlier icons, like, and even Santa Claus, he didn't necessarily, and I seen Santa Claus with a switch himself. He had a switch. They would walk all these earlier icons before Santa Claus. They walked around with the witch. I mean, the switch and the witch. You see what I'm saying? You see, they walked around with the switch. And so they would whoop the bad children. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the whoopings that, these earlier icons would give the children. So in the earlier Europe and even America before the Santa Claus era, kids was petrified of winter. They were petrified of these what they call the Christmas season, because this was the time that these demonic entities would come out of their lair, come looking for the bad kids or who they thought was the bad kids. So, they was in fright, they were in fright of this period. And August, the orc troll, Gryla, Gryla, they had I think it was Iceland. They had to ban the story. They had to ban the mothers and fathers, and for people, the elders, the adults telling the story to the kids, because it was petrifying the kids. You see, matter of fact, I'll look it up. So they had all these damn. Yeah, so they did. Yeah, they said there was reportedly a ban related to Gryla. In 1746, the Icelandic government issued a decree prohibiting parents from using Gryla and the Yule lad stories to scare children. So you got to understand they was trying to scare the shit out of them. Wasn't no goddamn Christmas. It was no Christmas. The Christmas that you know today is American. America, you know, people think it's an ancient holiday. In many aspects of it is, but the American aspect of it, they knew that they had to leave some of that shit behind. You know, they couldn't bring it in because of, you know, America was into capitalism and they about making money. So they want everybody to be happy. They want the babies to be happy so they can sell thousands, hundreds of dollars worth of toys. They want to be able to sell, you know, the food and all of that. They didn't want to have the outlandish holidays that they've been having for thousands of years, because basically they was having Saturnalia, they was having Carnival, they was having all these rogue, outlandish ass holidays. You see what I'm saying? Every last one of them had the same format, whether it was Easter, whether it was Thanksgiving, whether it was Christmas, whether it was Mardi Gras. All of them look like Mardi Gras. They bring out masks, floats, you understand, drunkenness and shit like that, even into early America, because Christmas didn't pop off for real in America like it is today, probably into the early 1900s. You see what I'm saying? Into the early, so Gryla was used as a boogeyman to frighten children into good behavior. That's like motherfucking, you know, that's like having the Candy Man and Santa Claus and shit. Or, you know what I'm saying? Or Freddy Krueger. You understand? The motherfucking Freddy Krueger and Candy Man is Santa Claus and shit. You see? So the 1746 decree specifically outlawed using her legend and her sons, the Yule lads, as a scare tactic. Okay. Afterwards, her fearsome image was toned down in folklore. The Yule lads became more mischievous than terrifying. So she, not only was she coming out to eat the children, she had 13 sons, and these motherfuckers was like gremlins. You see what I'm saying? But they didn't tone them down, and you know, you know, now they might just do something, do something, leave your door open or something and shit like that, and things of that neighborhood. Any other time, shit, you know, they was doing some outlandish shit. So, so yes, but not a full ban of the story. They didn't ban telling the story entirely, just using it to threaten children. Okay, so they didn't ban the story entirely. So this was before, and Gryla is older than Santa Claus. Okay, older than even St. Nicholas, because St. Nicholas is where you get Santa Claus from. Santa Claus is Dutch. You see, Santa Claus is Dutch. Okay, so they say it came from St. Nicholas, which is a goddamn lie. I can tell y'all, it ain't never been no St. Nicholas. You see what I'm saying? So they say St. Nicholas lived during the time of 270 to 343 of the Common Era. He was supposed to have been a Christian bishop of Myra, modern day Turkey. They ain't never found no paperwork on this man until 500 years after his supposed life. They ain't got no fucking what you call primary information, from the period in which he lived. They have no primary information on this man at all. So, they're just, the Catholics be making up saints like 40 going north. You see what I'm saying? They just create a goddamn saint. And they got so many saints, they don't even know how many they got. And that's for real. They say the Catholic Church is unable to count all the saints. That's because there's so many goddamn saints that is beyond count. So they didn't been making them up to the point they don't even know how many it is. You see, so he's supposed to why known for generosity and secret gift giving, especially to children. Tradition. See, let me tell you something about, and I'm gonna talk about that tomorrow. See what the Catholics do. They create, say for instance, they conquer you and they know you got powerful gods and goddesses. What they do at that very moment, they'll create a saint for one of your deities. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times they'll let you embody the characteristics and the attributes of your God in the saint, but they won't let you too much venerate your God as it was, but they'll let you venerate the saint that embodies all the attributes of your God. You see, in many instances, they created Saint Nicholas to embody the god, the Nordic god Odin and Thor. You see, they created, so that's who and so that's why when you look at Saint Nicholas, and they show you pictures of St. Nicholas, and then you look at Santa Claus, or even Santa Claus. And St. Nicholas don't look like neither Santa Claus or no damn Santa Claus. Santa Claus looked like Odin. He looked like the all-father Odin or the Nordic goddamn deities. You see what I'm saying? Living at the North Pole. This is exactly where goddamn Odin, Asgard, which is, you understand what I'm saying? And this is a Viking Norseman. You see? So that's very important that we understand that they create these damn saints, just like, every day. And so you got Santa Claus, which is Dutch. He came before. I need the dates. Yeah, they got the date. Okay, so Santa Claus. Let me see if they got the dates here. So they saying Santa Claus is almost 700-800 years old. As a modern gift bringer, 400 years old. Okay, as a modern gift bringer, 400 years old. So this is where you get Santa Claus, because Santa Claus is Santa Claus in Dutch. Okay, so this is where it comes from. So this is where, but see, it all come out of that older Norse tradition of Odin. You say Saint Nicholas became a saint for paying the cost of two prizes for one night. Yeah, yeah, I believe it too. I think I read something. Yeah, he was doing all type of crazy shit. Yeah, he was doing all type of crazy shit, and they talk about child sacrifice and that shit too. Cause he supposedly brought some murdered boys back to life and all of that shit. So yeah. I had a better one than this one though. I had a better one than wait a minute. Yeah, I had a better one. It gave me all I've been going in this motherfucker too many times. Yeah, but anyway, so so again, so now you looking at you know Gryla and Halloween. And another thing that we got to say why as much, because again, they wore masks. They wore masks during Christmas and New Year's and those particular holidays, they wore masks. Okay, let me get it here. Okay. So the similarities between Halloween and Christmas, they wore costumes and masks. Okay, people wore masks, costumes, disguises on Christmas Eve, similar to Halloween. So this is your good, and we talking about in earlier goddamn United States too. We're not talking about over here. We talking about right over here, up until where they had to ban it over here. They had to ban Christmas the way that they was practicing it because they practice it just like Mardi Gras. You see what I'm saying? So they shut down that particular blueprint for how they celebrated. You see, the Puritans was in, they wasn't having it. So many states, they just outright banned the shit because they wasn't having it. And then they had banned it in Britain for about 30 some years. You see, they had banned it when the Puritans took over there and they cut the head off the king and shit. In some areas, they call them mummers. And mass groups, they went door to door performing skits and demanding food or drink. So they would come and do like a song and two. They got masks on, and you know what I'm saying? They'd act out a little play or something and shit, and then they expected drink or some, some goodies. So this is early. This is what, like I say, this is how they practice every holiday. Mischief and pranks were common, just like Halloween trick or treating. This is wild. This is wild, family. This is wild. And they still do it to this day. It ain't like they stopped. If you go to certain areas over there in Northern Europe and shit, they still do it. They still put on, some areas they put on the goat mask, some areas they put on a bear mask, some areas they put on a deer mask. But they put the mask on. Early Christmas, it's a rowdy public celebration. Christmas was loud, boisterous, and sometimes chaotic. Street parties, tavern brawls, drinking, and public feasting was widespread. People often reverse social roles, with servants or lower class people mocking the elite, a kind of misrule very similar to Halloween's spirit of playful inversion. So that come out of the Saturnalia too. You see what I'm saying? But in during this time, they call it the Lord of Misrule. And so the whole society is upside down. You see, and they had the gesture. The Lord of Misrule is the gesture. He's the one that keeps the shit flowing upside down and shit. He's the Lord of Misrule. And so, so early Christmas celebrations included folk rituals to predict the future, especially about love and marriage. So they had divination and fortune telling. You see, young people might perform games, apple bobbing, or other divination practices. Practices were more often, which we more often associate with Halloween today. Pagan symbolism. Much of early Christmas incorporated pagan winter solstice customs, evergreens, Yule logs, horns of plenty, the cornucopia. We just brought that up, family. It ain't got nothing to do with no Bible. Ain't none of it. 90, listen, I'm going to just be real with you. Damn near 99, I'm gonna cut it back because you might get the nativity. Outside of the nativity, which during Christmas you're gonna get the nativity. That might be the only symbol from the Bible associated that I can identify just clearly. Associate every fucking thing else come out of the Nordic shit. That's just reality. It come out of earlier of the north, and then here you supposed to be in the damn desert, and here you got all this. I know goddamn well Jesus wasn't walking through no snow with no goddamn sandals on. Now, motherfucker gonna have frostbite on his feet. You know, I know good and goddamn well that motherfucker didn't have no goddamn sandals on. You see what I'm saying? So y'all got to clean that shit up. But anyway, community rituals and feasts like Halloween in some regions, Christmas was about community-wide gatherings, often loud, messy, and less domestic than modern Christmas. Neighbors would visit each other's homes, share food, and sometimes engage in playful mischief. Okay, so yeah, you already know they were savage. They were savage. Masking. So summary, early Christmas was masked and costume, like Halloween. Rowdy and mischievous, like Halloween. Filled with folk rituals and divination, like Halloween. Rooted in pagan harvest, solstice traditions, like Halloween. Basically, early Christmas in America was closer to Halloween than today's serene, family-centered holiday. It was a festival of misrule, merrymaking, and pagan echoes. You see, pagan echo. You say white Jesus was made for the cold. He might have been, but he wasn't going to have them goddamn sandals on. I tell you that. So yeah, he was made for the cold, but he wouldn't have had them goddamn sandals on. I tell you that motherfucker would have been there. You ever seen The Shining? Where that motherfucker, what's his name? Where he was at the end when that motherfucker had froze. That motherfucker was chasing that woman and that boy through the maze out there, and he couldn't find his way. And when they found his ass the next day, his ass had froze. Yeah, that motherfucker had froze, and that's what's gonna happen to Jesus if he out there in that goddamn ice with them goddamn sandals on. But anyway, family, we got one more for the road. Stay with me. Why Christmas was more like Halloween in early America. We got it for you, family. We got it for you, family. Come back on with the general. We got one more for the road and for the Earl Jack Nicholson. Yeah, Nicholson. Jack Nicholson. Yeah, that was his ugly ass. Yeah, anyway, family, we'll be right back. Help support the general. Click some of them links. Patreon, King SETI. We got some more fire coming down the pipeline. Stay tuned, family. Arm yourself with knowledge. Bang on that wicked ass beast daily. Liberation through African education and confrontation. Boom. Black power.